My own personal expectations are we'll finish around the middle of the table, give or take. Um, I'm sure the club's expectations and the club's targets will obviously be promotion, and you're right, they should be for a club like us at this level. Um, can we make the top seven? It's definitely possible. You know, every year there's a team or two who perhaps from a financial point of view can't compete with some of the bigger boys and girls. But every year that, you know, money talks most of the time, but every year that, you know, Barrow were up there a lot last season, albeit they fell away. Crew got to the playoff final. So it is possible. It's just harder without enough resources. So for me, I mean, there'll be a lot of fans who's on social media and ever based, well, not demanding, but expecting a top seven finish. I just think that every year the division gets tougher and tougher, arguably, from a financial point of view. And for us to go, as I say, from 16th, I know it's a black and white way of looking at it, but to go from 16th, and I don't want to mention him again, but with 16th with Rob Apter to 7th minimum without Rob Apter, albeit with some new signings, I think that might be quite a big jump. That might be too much for us to do, but I hope I'm wrong. So I just hope fans are realistic, because it just gets harder and harder. You know, you only have to look at the contracts that are being given. I don't want to repeat myself, but the contracts that are being given. I mean, even Crew gave somebody a 3-year deal the other day. Now, I don't know what wages they're on, but you only have to see it. It's just getting harder and harder, that without an investment along the scale of a Wrexham, a Stockport, a Mansfield, without that, it's unlikely that you're going to be challenging. It's not impossible, but it's harder and harder, and people have to realise that. And you've got to, hopefully with Nigel's experience, we've got a lot of players that clearly have been with the club a while. Jennings, Morris, clearly got affection for the club. So Davis, so hopefully that, you know, they'll give their all, and I'm sure they will. But for me, my personal expectations are mid-table, and I would love to be in the playoffs. I'd love to be top 10. Top 10 would be, for me. I'd be disappointed we've not made the playoffs. But again, I go back to what more can we expect, really? Now, of course, the interesting thing is that I remember there was that league table, wasn't there, from when Nigel was made permanent in November, and I think by the end of it we were maybe 9th or 10th or something. So there's definitely some optimism, but there needs to be realism that we're punching above our weight. The teams that have come down, okay, they haven't got the Wrexham story with the Hollywood finance, but relatively speaking, they are well backed. Carlisle got the American ownership. Port Vale have got Darren Moore in charge, and they're splashing the cash as well. Never mind your Gillinghams and your MK Dons, who are really going to go for it after missing out on the playoffs last year. MK Dons and Crew, well, they got knocked out by Crawley. So for me, people need to be realistic that it's possible top seven. It's not impossible. It's definitely possible. But for me, if I were a betting man, it's unlikely. So if top 10 finish or top mid-table finish at the end of the season, I'd be disappointed. But I might hold my hands up and say, well, yes, we're a big club in name in League Two. We are a big club but we've got no divine right to be in the top seven because of that. You've got to have the resources, and the resources at the end of the day bring in the better players, and most of the time the cream rises to the top. Not all the time, but most of the time. So we do have to be realistic, but it's not out of the question. So we'll see what happens. But unfortunately, the modern day fan with social media and everything, it's so easy now to criticise, and you know, people saying that we should be promotion contenders and things like that. And yeah, we should be. That should be our should be what we're aiming for, without a doubt. But tinged with a little bit of realism that, from a financial point of view, I'm not sure we can compete with a lot of teams in our division. But time will tell.